शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणे विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Okay, so last time we had started with Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmyam, and I think we came to the end of the first chapter of Mahatmyam, that is story of Bhakti, how Bhakti Devi was born in Dravida Desham. Slowly she proceeded. She reached Karnataka Desham, then she reached Maharashtra, finally she merged in Gujarat. So this is what we have seen, and finally they all reached Vrindavan, wherein before that, Narada Maharshi he meets Bhakti and her two sons Jnana Vairagya who are fallen down and who are actually old men because they have lost their charm also in Kali Yuga. That's when all of them go together to Vrindavana, and that's where Jnana Vairagya, the two sons of Bhakti also, they regain consciousness, they become young again, and so on. So this was all about chapter 1 of Bhagavata Mahatmya. Second is a chapter wherein it is like the continuation, wherein Narada now he advises Bhakti saying that why do you always worry so much? Like there are going to be worries in everyone's lives, but you don't have to keep worrying. If you keep worrying, anyways your worries are not going to reduce in any way. So stop worrying, you think of some solution. Once you think of some solution, for example, chapter 2, Narada he says, Vratakhedayase bale aho chintatura katham Shri Krishna charanam bhojam smaradukham gamishyati. He said, just remember and surrender to the feet of Lord Krishna. He will take care of everything. And he will ensure that all your dukkha goes away. That's the reason even till date also, whenever we worship Lord or we chant the names of the Lord or we go to temple or we are around positive people also, we forget our dukkhas even if it is for a temporary period of time, right? So it's not that our worries vanish or they completely go away, but at least for that particular small period of time we forget, right? Maybe now 1 hour 9 to 10 every once a week all of you join in. All of us we have our different worries in life, but at least 1 hour we spend maybe in doing something good, right? So this is a difference wherein all of us we feel good together. So like this, Narada also advises Bhakti saying that whenever you feel the dukkha and worries are troubling you at that time, surrender to the feet of Lord Krishna and all your dukkhas will go away. And he says that he gave an example also. Wherein he says, Draupadi cha parivrata yena kauga dushmanat palita gopa sakrishna kwapino gataha. Even Draupadi also was saved by Lord Krishna when she called out, raising her hands up, O Govinda. At that time, Krishna came in order to save Draupadi from getting humiliated. So who are you? Definitely you will also be saved by the Lord. So therefore, in fact, here Narada assures Bhakti saying that more than anyone else, you are more dearer to Lord Krishna because the Lord, not only Lord Krishna, the Lord in general, any God for that matter, they like bhakti, right? In which way you show bhakti, in which way you're devoted, that doesn't matter. Showing bhakti alone is what matters, right? So you go to a temple and do something, or you do something at home, that doesn't matter. You worship the Lord in the temple, or you worship the Lord at your house, doesn't matter. Or maybe you're traveling, also still you're remembering Lord, that also is considered as bhakti. Or the best example of Ajamala, which we saw even last time. In fact, even unconsciously, also, if you remember and call out the names of the Lord considers that also as bhakti. So, Narada assures Bhakti Devi saying that you are a part and parcel of everyone's life, not only spirituality, in any other action that man does. Bhakti or devotion is very, very important. That's why we say work devotedly, work religiously. So, religion or bhakti or devotion is not alone associated with God, spirituality, also. It is with each and everything that we do. A simple example now, I'm telling you about Bhagavata Mahatmya. All of you are listening. If I don't put in my 100% now, by default now I have to be devoted. If I just suddenly start blabbering, I look here and there, all of you can make out, right? But maybe in your case, I cannot make out because Shravana Bhakti, you're just listening, right? But so that's why I immediately say, I call out one of you and say, what I just said, can you repeat? If any one of you can say, it's okay. Otherwise, maybe someone else is talking, I'm listening to them also. They're not listening devotedly, right? So like this, there is a difference. Or maybe in between, I start blabbering something else out of context, or maybe I stop speaking, something like that. it means I have lost track, right? So work, whatever we do, doing that with complete devotion, complete bhakti is very, very important. This is what Narada highlights here. And the base or the glory of Bhagavata Mahatmyam speaks that whatever you do in life, you do it or you don't do it, there is nothing in between. If you're doing something, it should be 100%. If you're not doing it, let it be zero. Nothing should be in between. The same thing here, Narada tells. And Narada assures Bhakti that, oh Bhakti, you're a part and parcel of every human's life, so you don't have to worry now. Whenever dukkhas come in, now your sons, both Jnana and Vairagya, have become young again. So stop worrying about them also. Start your journey henceforth. And further, he says that in the three yugas, he says, that is the first three yugas, Satya, Treta, and Dwapara, he says that in order to attain moksha, things were little difficult. Doing dhyana, pranayama, or maybe putting lot of efforts also, or maybe having a control on one's mind. So the ways of attaining moksha or liberation were quite difficult. Whereas in Kali Yuga, it is not so. Nama sankirtanam yasya. Chanting merely the names of the Lord is more than enough to attain moksha. But unfortunately, people like us find that also difficult. Right? Even 5 minutes also, we are not able to concentrate. So this is, of course, every yuga has got its own characteristics. So Kali Yuga's definition is this. It becomes very difficult for us. So that's the reason even chanting the names of the Lord is very, very important, and that also is a challenge for us in the Kali Yuga, because surrounding situations are like that and we get distracted very, very easily. So here, further what he says is, once Narada, he tells Bhakti. Now, in this context only, Narada tells Bhakti that remember, once Lord Krishna himself had told you. Once Bhakti Devi had gone to Lord Krishna and asked him, what should I do? How should I show my devotion to you? I myself am Bhakti, I myself am devotion. How should I show Bhakti towards you? At that time, the Lord, what he said is, he said, look after my devotees. Become a part of my devotees. Encourage my devotees to show Bhakti. Become a part and parcel of their body so that they can show their bhakti towards me and towards all the activities that they do. So this was what was told by the Lord, and that's when. And this Bhakti Devi agreed. She became a part of all human beings. The Lord was very much happy on her, and that's when it said that two sons were given to her, Jnana and Vairagya, and she also had a servant, it seems, a dasi, who was nothing but Mukti or Moksha. So that is, if Bhakti is at the peak, automatically Moksha follows. So just like a maid servant or a dasi, right? Usually servants also, especially for kids, you would see the caretakers. Wherever the family goes, they take the caretaker around. Similarly, wherever Bhakti is, Moksha follows. So Mukti was like a maid servant or dasi for Bhakti Devi. The Lord himself had blessed Bhakti with this. Now, all this Bhakti had actually forgotten in her dukkha. Just as in our times also, troubling times, difficult times, we forget all the good things which have happened, right? So, similarly, here Narada makes Bhakti remember all this, saying that you have forgotten all this. Whatever good has happened to you, you have forgotten, please remember. And that's when what happened is Narada tells Bhakti that finally taking Mukti, who was your Dasi, Jnana Vairagya, both your sons, you came down to Bhulokam, you came down to earth. And from Krita Yuga, that is Satya Yuga, till Dwapara Yuga, you stayed here on Prithvi. You were very happy. Later, as Dwapara Yuga was about to end and Kali Yuga was about to begin, slowly what happened is Mukti vanished. Mukti was something. Now, Mukti people used to get very easily, it seems. Satya, Treta, Dwapara. Even if they used to not get easily, people were ready to put in efforts to get Mukti or Moksha. But in Kali Yuga, things were not same. Now, someone amongst us, someone comes and tells, take Mukti, or you have to attain Moksha. Though we all know to some extent, or you've read it here and there, that ultimate is getting moksha, mukti, this and that, how many of us are actually ready to put in efforts? No, right? Forget it, what I'm enjoying life, one day I have to die. This is what is the attitude which all of us have, right? To some extent, that can be correct also. We think practically. In Kali Yuga, this is what happens. So, ultimately, Mukti, it seems that she vanished in Kali Yuga and she returned back to Vaikuntha. That's the reason today we say you have to attain moksha. Attaining moksha is equal to attaining Vaikuntha, right? So that's why we say Vaikuntham, Rudralokam, Kailasam, Brahmalokam. Why do we say all this? Because in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga, Mukti or moksha very much existed. Whereas in today's times, if you have to attain Mukti, you have to go to Vaikuntha. But so this is when towards the end of the Dwapara Yuga and beginning of the Kali Yuga, Mukti vanished, Jnana and Vairagya turned out to be old. And that's when what happened is nobody was knowledgeable, nobody is rather knowledgeable in Kali Yuga. Vairagyam was also not a part of their lives. Therefore, slowly what happened is all of them they started decaying in Kali Yuga. Now, if you don't practice something for a long time, you tend to forget. Right? So the same thing happened here also. So nobody made use of Jnana Vairagya now. That's how they have become old now. So all this Narada is explaining to Bhakti. And now what he says is still, still it's not very late. Now what you can do is you can still come to Vrindavanam. In Vrindavanam, you have the Gopikas of Vrindavana who have utmost bhakti on the Lord. And Vrindavanam is that place which has got bhakti till date. Your Jnana Vairagya, both these sons have also become young again. So even in the Kali Yuga, Vrindavanam is a place wherein people can still showcase their bhakti. And here, finally, Lord Narada he says that Bhakti Devi are very, very important. Even people now, it's not that everyone is knowledgeable, right? Everyone has knowledge of the Vedas, Itihasas, Puranas, it doesn't happen, right? Whereas you tell someone to say, you chant Ramanama, say 108 times, you say 11 times, it will be possible, right? Now, for here, you can take the example of Valmiki. Valmiki, previously a great robber, and at that time, Narada, what he told him is, you don't even chant. Now, to a person like Valmiki, we cannot tell him to do something, right? You go to this temple, you go to that temple, you do puja, you attain jnanam, you attain show vairagyam, this and that. We cannot tell. He not understand a word. So at that time, what happens is he did no, he was not even fit to chant Ramanama. That's why he was given Upadesha the other way around, Marama, Rama, Rama, Rama. Automatically, it becomes Rama. And that's how, even by merely chanting Ramanama, he was the one who was composed the Ramayana. So, depending on people who are there, like for us also, if you say tell someone tells us you have the knowledge of the Vedas, Itihasas, Upanishads, this and that, it might be difficult, right? Not all of us can do that. But you tell someone to chant the names of the Lord, it becomes easy. That also in some people's you can say case it doesn't come, right? But still comparatively it is quite easy. So therefore Narada tells Bhakti Devi that it is very much important. You are only the most important. So now here again there is a big question mark which comes in. Does that mean that we should not study the Vedas, we should not study the Ramayana, we should not study the Itihasas and merely simply chant Nama? That's what is told in the Bhagavatam. Why should I not do that? Bhagavatam tells that bhakti is very much important. But if you get a chance to learn something superior, definitely you should do that. Right? I'll give you a very simple example for this. Say, for example, there is one man who monthly he earns about say 5,000 rupees. Right? In this 5,000 rupees, in today's times, I'm saying he has to run his entire house. Today's times, when I say it is almost impossible, right? He is a married man, he has to fetch for his family, has to take care of his household expenses, his own expense, and so on. So life becomes very difficult. Before spending a money, he thinks twice, right? He has money, but he thinks twice before doing anything because every month, maybe as soon as the money is credited, he makes a list what all he has to do, right? And then he keeps on saving every rupee and so on. This same man, maybe after a few years or so, the 5,000 becomes 50,000, right? You are having money even in 5,000, you are leading a life, right? The same 24 hours, you had the same family, your expenses were low, everything was okay. But now that you're earning 50,000, obviously your expenses are going to increase, right? At that time, the man will not say, okay, anyways, in 5,000 also I was eating, I was fetching for my family, everything I was doing, I was leading a comfortable life, right? So does a man earning 5,000 and 50,000, the same man I'm talking about, once he earns 50,000, automatically his expenses change, right? He has got a good opportunity. What will he think then? I have money, why not use it for good purposes? Maybe he saves more, he spends more. Maybe previously he was spending about 100 rupees, now he's spending 1,000 rupees on the same thing, right? So previously also he was leading a life, later also he's leading a life. Only difference is we have got something more, so why not make use of it? Why I gave you this example is same is applicable here also. If you get an opportunity to learn more, if you get an opportunity to maybe study the Vedas, Itihasas, Puranas, Upanishads, then like a fool someone should not say no, merely chanting the names of the Lord is also easy, I will do that. If you have got an opportunity, if you have got the ability, why not do it, right? So this is the same example. Just as we tune ourselves with the opportunities that come in, like I gave you the example of 5,000, 50,000, automatically our lifestyle changes, right? Similarly here, and there is one more thing to it. Once you start earning 50,000, you can never come one penny down, right? That's when we always look for more and more. Why do people look for job changes? Someone says, "Oh, I got in a very big company," but will you go for less salary? Will never go, right? In fact, we have so much of demands. I want this, I want that, and so on. Every year we get a promotion. Hardly anyone gets a demotion, right? And even if you get a demotion, you are ready to leave the place. Why? Why do we look for more and more? We need growth, right? Otherwise, we'll never stay. And that way, our life also changes. Similar, and we never come back. We never settle for less. Similarly, in bhakti or moksha or spirituality that we do, we should never settle for less. One, maybe if you get an opportunity to study the itihasas, should always get more. First, the Puranas, Upanishads, itihasas, Vedas, and so on. That way, it should always keep increasing. Just as we don't settle for less in life, similarly, here also we should not settle. So it's the same logic that's applicable. Why I told you this is there will be some people who question, oh, Srimad Bhagavatam says show only bhakti. Gita also Bhakti Yoga chapter 12, Krishna does the same. Or Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. The Lord Himself has said, you don't offer me anything, it's okay. But if you have got the abilities, if you have got the capacity, why not offer? There are so many people who do this, right? You've got all the means to do this. Maybe every day you can make a nice naivedyam and offer to the Lord. But no, the Lord only has said, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. Every day I'll just offer a glass of water. Will you drink the glass of water every day? It's okay, right? You can also drink water and serve. We don't do. We satisfy ourselves. Every day we try to eat something new, this and that. Similarly, here also. Whenever the Lord says this, though the Lord has said, the Lord always preaches, Lord, Gurus, or whatever it is. Our scriptures, they speak for someone to have equality everywhere. Everyone in the society should feel that, okay, I can also be some part. There are people who cannot afford things, who don't have the ability. For them, this is applicable. But if you have the ability, you should never think that way. Oh, the Lord only has said, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, I'll also do that. Right? We don't do that to ourselves. Same is applicable to the Lord also. So coming back, here Narada also tells the same thing to Bhakti that you are a part, you are very much crucial to Lord Krishna. Even one who doesn't know the Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas also, you are helpful to them because merely showing Bhakti to you, maybe by singing songs, maybe by, that's why you say some people do even some kind of social service. Helping others, that is also Bhakti. Offering flowers to the Lord is Bhakti. Singing songs to the Lord is Bhakti. Chanting shlokas is Bhakti. Chanting mantras is Bhakti. Doing puja is Bhakti. Doing homas is Bhakti. Now here also if you are about 16, 20 people, not all of us do bhakti in the same way, right? For someone, maybe lighting a lamp twice a day is bhakti. For someone, say singing songs can be bhakti. Someone says, no, I'll just chant prayers also. And then I go. Someone says, no, every day 5 minutes I have my daily normal prayers that I chant, then I go. Someone says, no, I do my Trikala Sandhya Vandanam, that itself is bhakti for me. So it can be anything. Someone will say, no, once a week on every weekend only I have some time. So on that day I will do, maybe every day I just light a lamp and go. All this is bhakti, nothing is wrong. We cannot say that something is wrong. Everyone's way of showing bhakti is different. Narada explains the same concept here. Further, he said that bhakti, how it will spread all around. That's why in the later periods, when you have the bhakti movement, you have sages and sons like Namdev, Tukaram, Jnanoba, and so on, how they spread bhakti movement. Bhakti became a part of their lives, right? So that's when your Narada said that saints will spread this. That's how bhakti movement started in Bharat Desha. Okay. So this was a blessing, or you can say this was told, this was predicted by Narada, and it was told to Bhakti Devi. And it seems that Narada says, Anayakashapanyapi gopatyatven, sorry, gopyatven aniropitam kimva tat sadhanam karyam kena karyam bhavetayoho. The same thing which Narada told, the same Akashvani was also heard from the sky. The same voice was also heard from the sky, which told about the same thing. But now that saints will spread bhakti. But now, where are these saints? How will they spread bhakti? This was the next question that came in. And here it said that further what happened is another question came to Narada's mind. Now, Narada, if you see, he was quite in tension, fully anxiety, and so on. Though he was consoling Bhakti Devi, at the back of his mind, he himself was anxious. So finally, what happened is he said, okay, telling this is easy, finding people is easy, or just making statements that saints will spread Bhakti is easy. But where to find people who will do this, right? Where should I go? Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, and Kali Yuga are like almost, they are not existing at all. And even great people, They know, they have studied the Upanishads, they have studied the Gita, this and that. Still, they are not able to spread bhakti. Still, they are not able to spread knowledge. Then, how will other saints also do? So, what should I do next? So, he gets anxious, and finally, Narada reaches Badrika Ashrama, that is Badrinath. There, he said that I will do some tapasya, I will do some meditation here. And at that time, Narada came across the four Sanat Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanandana, and the three brothers who were there. And he spoke to them. And he said that out of God's grace, I have met you. Now, meeting saints or meeting great people, in fact, not only great people, meeting anyone in life or coming across something is not in our hands at all. It can be an evil man or it can be someone, it can be a good person, right? Now, you see in everyone's life, now, most of you here, you're mid age, right? At least maybe in your 40s, 50s, or maybe more than that, correct? So you would have come across so many people in life, so many people, so many things. Do you remember each and everything? No, you don't remember, right? But there will be one person in your life, maybe you met them in your childhood also, till date you remember. Why? And whom we remember also as human beings certainly. Maybe that one person who stole my eraser in school also, till date I'm angry on him. But people who did something good for me in the course of time we forget. This is human tendency, right? So things that happen evil to us, it can be a very small thing, but still maybe today you're no longer angry with that person also. But suddenly you see him on the road also. What we remember is, no, on that day in my school days he stole my eraser. This is the thought that comes to our mind. This is human behavior, human mentality. So here the point is, Narada what he tells, or Sanat Kumara's what he tells is, today I could get your darshana all due to your grace and the Lord's grace. So people who come in our lives, there are millions of people who come and go. Not everyone we remember, not everyone has an impact, but few people they remember, or you can say they remain in our lives forever, right? Or we keep on remembering them, and we feel thankful that such a person came into my life. Maybe for a very short period of time, but what he or she did was very much useful, right? So it can be anything, maybe the person, or maybe the work that the person is doing, or maybe it can be anything, or maybe you learned something new. So like this, some people we do remember, it doesn't happen by chance of, though we consider it happens by chance. If it happens by chance, it can also go by chance, right? There is no guarantee that it will remain always, right? But if something has always remained with us, it has to be the grace of the Lord. The same thing Narada also tells. And further, now the four Sanat Kumaras, they ask him, saying that, uh, what is your problem? Why are you roaming about here and there? Why are you so worried and so on? And at that time, what happens is, Narada, the four Sanat Kumaras asked this to Narada. At that time, Narada tells that I am very much worried, thinking of this Bhakti, Jnana, and Vairagya. They are on Bhuloka in Kali Yuga, but they don't know how to establish Bhakti again. Jnana, Vairagya, her two sons, they've reached Vrindavana. There, they've attained youth, but still they're actually old. In entire Bharata Desha, if they go here and there, they're actually old. That's why Bhakti Devi is also feeling very much sad. So, how it should happen and so on. At that time, Sanat Kumaras, Kumara Uchuhu, chapter 2, Bhagavata Mahatmya. Ma chintam kurude varshe harsham chitte samavaha. Such a good line. Say, first of all, we need such people in life, right? Before even giving an answer to Narada's question, they say, Ma chintam, first stop worrying. Leave all your worries, become happy. Right? Ma chintam kurude varshe harsham chitte samavaha upaya sukhasadyotra vartate purva eva hi. For Sanat Kumara says, don't worry. First, make your mind happy. Then we'll tell you what to do. And he says that you are the one. The four Sanat Kumaras tell Narada that you are the one who's propounding and spreading bhakti all over by chanting Narayana Nama continuously. So therefore, you have to only establish bhakti back again. That's the reason why you're facing this affliction. So whatever happens in life happens for a reason. This is a proof. So what you have to do is, you have to put in efforts. Life is not going to be easy at all. Put in efforts. There should be some kind of discipline also. And please, whatever you do, do it with a cheerful mind and so on. So what they tell is, Jnana and Vairagya, how they will regain consciousness is, let people in the Kali Yuga, maybe you cannot do great sacrifices, great homas, yajnas also, but a Jnana yajna can be performed. What is a Jnana yajna? Jnana yajna in the form of Srimad Bhagavata Parayana. This entire Purana of 18,000 verses, let that be chanted. If that is done just by mere reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is told by Shuka and all others, that itself will help in establishing bhakti again. Jnana Vairagya will attain youth. So this is all their sufferings will also disappear, your anxiety will also disappear. This was advice which was told by Sanat Kumaras to Narada. And they said that reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam will ensure that all the evils of Kali Yuga will also disappear. Thus, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya will also regain their consciousness. Now, Narada becomes very happy. And he said that, but your Narada, he asks a question. He says, what he asks is, Veda Vedanta Ghosheshcha Gita Pathai Prabodhitam Bhakti Jnana Viraganam Nodatishtatrikam Yada. Narada, he tells that chanting of the Vedas, Upanishads, Gita, and so on did not affect Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya. That is, they did not wake up at all. They're still worrying even after chanting of all these texts. Then Srimad Bhagavata, Srimad Bhagavata Labha Tatkatam Bodhameshyani Tatkatha Sudha Vedartha Shloke Shloke Pade Pade. Then how come chanting of Srimad Bhagavatam will help them? So this was a very practical question which Narada asks. And he says, there is no doubt. Now, Narada here, this doesn't mean that Narada does not know the Mahima of Srimad Bhagavatam. He says that Shloke Shloke Pade Pade. In every shlokam, every padam of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is actually an essence of the Vedas, no doubt. But still, chanting the original Vedas, Gita, this and that has also not caused any effect on Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya. How come Srimad Bhagavatam will affect? Is there any answer to this? This is what Narada asks. Further, the Kumaras said that Srimad Bhagavatam is an essence of Vedas and Upanishads itself, but it is in the form of small stories. So it becomes easy for the reader to understand. Just as a very simple example, why do we tell children moral stories? Or why do as kids did we learn moral stories? You tell the child something directly, the child doesn't listen. Right? Tell the child speak the truth, it will not listen. The same principle if you tell to a story or so, the child understands better. Why? Because it relates to the story and tells that, oh, in the story the boy did not speak the truth, so he had to get some punishment. Similarly, if I don't speak the truth, I will also have to suffer. This is how the child relates, right? Why do we send kids to school also at a young age? At home the child doesn't eat, at home the child doesn't write also, but the same child when it goes to school, it eats nicely, it writes properly. Why? It looks at four others and it does, right? So similarly here also, Srimad Bhagavatam is something which is like a practical book for us. We look at that, it becomes easy. Vedas and Upanishads and the Gita also, they talk about the principles. Right? You have to speak the truth, you have to do this, you have to do that. But for human beings, teaching or telling the principles directly doesn't help always. At times, helping or making someone understand with the help of stories is very, very important. Srimad Bhagavatam does the job of this. So therefore, the Sanat Kumaras tell Narada that chanting of Srimad Bhagavatam is just the essence of the Vedas and Upanishads, and it will make the reader, it will ensure that reading becomes easy. So, this is how you can say that here, further Sanat Kumaras they say that this has been told by Vyasacharya himself. Vyasacharya also, even after compiling the Vedas, composing the Puranas, still he did not attain peace of mind. That's when the Lord Himself told that you please write the Mahima, write my stories, you will attain peace of mind. Bhagavata. That's how he gets the name, right? And that's when ultimately towards the end, Vyasa he composes the Bhagavatam, that's when he attains peace of mind. So by doing all this, ultimately Bhagavatam is something which is at its best or which comes to the rescue. So Sanat Kumara tell Narada, you please go tell Bhakti Jnana Vairagya also to do this. You chant, let them listen, automatically they will attain, you can say, they will attain glory and so on. So this is what happens. And now further Narada, so with this chapter 2 comes to an end. Chapter 3 beginning, finally bhakti is suffering comes to an end. So what does Narada, okay, till here is everyone able to follow? Yes. Ah, okay. Let's continue. Just 1 minute. So finally, bhakti suffering comes to an end. This is described in chapter 3 of the Mahatmya. Now here what happens is Narada tells, okay, now I'm going to do a Jnana Yajna, wherein Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya will get back to their original form. They'll again become happy. So what will I do this? The glory of Srimad Bhagavatam also, whatever you have told, O Sanat Kumaras, I will tell that also. And now further Narada questions. He tells that in how many days should the Bhagavata Parayanam be done? What is the procedure and so on? Please guide. So again the Kumaras, they continue. They said that we will tell you all this. And he tells that the Kumaras tell that near the place of Maya, what is Maya? Maya is nothing but Haridwar. Shrunarada Vakshyamo Vinamraya Vivekine Gangadwara Samipetu Tatamananda Namakam. In the place Haridwar near Ganga Tatam, Ganga Dwaram, you can say the beginning of Ganga. Okay? So there is a place called Tatamananda Namakam. On the banks of the Ganga, you have a place called Ananda. There you have lot of rishis who are there, and there are a lot of trees, this and that, a very good place. There, what you do is you can start with the Jnana Yajnam there because the surroundings is very, very important, right? If you have to do something, the surroundings are quite important. Like, for example, some people go on this, meditation, yoga workshops also, right? You have to, what do you call that? I think Vipassana. What is that called? Vipassana Kendras. Anyone has done that? Vipassana. Yeah, correct. So if you see those places that are there, so Vipassana, there you have some diet restrictions. They tell you you have a proper routine, this, that, pranayama, yoga, and so on. So there you cannot just do that at your house, right? And usually such Vipassana places that are there, Vipassana centers, they're quite away from the main city, right? So it will be on the outskirts of the city, or maybe in a village also where you have a lot of greenery, maybe peace, silence, and so on. Why? Because the outside environment is something which is very, very important. It has an effect on our lives, whether we agree or we disagree, right? So that's the reason why you feel, right? Sometimes you feel very dark, very gloomy also. Automatically open the doors or windows of your house. Maybe you're still frustrated, but little at least fresh air comes in, you start feeling good, right? And maybe a person is staying all alone his life. Suddenly, when four people come in, they start speaking to him, the person starts feeling good, right? So, why such changes happen is the outside environment has an impact on us. In a school also, if a child goes to school, if you see school buildings, school classrooms are always colorful, right? You have a lot of charts, pictures, this and that. School buildings also, they will be red, blue, such things. Whereas residential buildings will not have this color. Why? Because maybe from far off to make a difference, right? This is a school. That can be a one, you can say one reason maybe. But the most important reason is the children you see, when you show them bright colors, they become happy. That is one reason why the classroom is always kept lively, right? So all this example is the outside environment is something which is very, very important. It has an impact on human life. So therefore, Sanat Kumaras tell Narada. Now you see, Narada is a Devarishi. To him also, if surroundings matter, then for human beings, for normal human beings like us, definitely the outside environment matters. So how much ever people we say that no, I'm not at all distracted, this, that in life, I have a lot of concentration of mind and so on, it takes hardly a minute to get distracted, right? And of course, all of us have our own experiences for this. So the Sanat Kumara's advice that you go to such a place and there you start this Jnana Yajnam, their bhakti too will come in person. She will also come, Jnana Vairagya will also follow. And wherever Srimad Bhagavatam is being read, Bhakti will automatically reach that place. And on hearing this, automatically Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, they'll feel rejuvenated, they'll feel fresh and so on, they'll become very happy. Now, after the Suta he continues. Now, what is Suta? Suta is actually the one who's telling the story of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, the conversation is taking place between Narada and Kumaras, but Suta is telling about the conversation to other sages. And that's when Suta finally continues that that's this conversation took about. And now what happened is the four Sanat Kumaras also went along with Narada to listen to the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's when it seems that a lot of sages also they assembled there. Who are they? Bhrigu, Bhrigor Vasishtascha Manascha Gautamo Medati Devara Devarato Ramastatagadi Sutashta Shakalo Mrikandaputra Trija Pippaladaha. Bhrigu, Vasishta, Chavana, Gautama, Medaditi, Devala, Devarata, Parshurama, Vishwamitra, Shakala, Shakala, Markandeya, Dattatreya himself, Pippalada, Vyasa, his father Parashara, Chayashuka, and Jajani, Janhu, and so on. Janhu, father of Ganga, Janhavi, that's how she gets the name. Like this, all other sages also assembled there to listen to the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, in fact, there further who came is all the Upanishads, Vedas, Mantras, Tantras, the other 17 Puranas, and the six Shastras. They also came there. Six Shastrams, Yoga, Vyakarana, and so on. They also assembled, it seems, in physical form to listen to the glory of Bhagavatam. यो वेदान्तानि च वेदाश्च मन्त्रास्तन्त्रासमूर्तयः दशसप्तपुराणानि षट्शास्त्राणि तथा ययुः. This itself speaks about the Mahima of Srimad Bhagavatam. All others were present there. And further, what happened is Narada started speaking about Srimad Bhagavatam. All the Kumaras, everyone was given an excellent seat. All of them started, so all proper arrangements were made, and conches were heard. Everyone started, and ladies were present, the Upanishads, they were all sitting, the Vedas, then the different Tirtha Kshetras also. Now, Tirtha Kshetras is the deities who were there. Like, for example, Badrikashrama, Lord Krishna is a deity, Kashi, Lord Shiva. So, all those deities also were present there, and that's how the everyone started seating. They all had, uh, you can say, they all started praying to Lord Krishna, their minds were all set, and that's when the Kumaras were there. Now Narada was about to speak, but Narada had a question, right? How should Srimad Bhagavatam be? How should the Paranam be done, and so on? So the four Sanat Kumaras, they were given an excellent seat. Now, why an excellent seat is the speaker who is there should always be seated on a height, right? For the same thing, of course, if a person is speaking or telling you something, the person should be seen differently, right, from the audience. So the four Sanat Kumara started speaking here about the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. Along with Narada, all others also started listening. So that's when the Kumara said, Atate varnyate smabihi mahima shuka shastrajah yasya shravana matrena muktif karatale sthita. Simply, merely by listening to Srimad Bhagavatam, mukti karatale. Mukti is in your hands. That easily you will attain Srimad Bhagavatam. So now the Kumaras start with this, and they said that this is a work which Grantaha Ashtadasha Sahasro. This Grantha contains 18,000 shlokas and is divided into Dvadasha Skanda Samhitaha, divided into 12 skandhas. And Parikshit Shuka Samvadaha Shridabhagavatam Chatat. It is a conversation between sage Parikshit and between King Parikshit and sage Shuka. And thus, all of you be ready to start hearing the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And all ajnanam of a man, ignorance vanishes simply by listening to Bhagavatam. Even for a moment also, one who consciously listens or the words of Bhagavatam fall on his ears, that is also fine. And the first thing, what will be gained? Like all of us here, the Kumaras also highlight this, saying that what will I get after listening to this? Just as we also have this, right? What will I get after doing this? Similarly, here the Kumaras also have a question, and they said that the Bhagavatam, in whichever house Bhagavatam is read every day, all the sins go away. So, like this, different Falashrutis, the Lord starts speaking. And it seems that further, न गङ्गा न गया काशी पुष्करं न प्रयागकं शुकशास्त्रकथायाश्च फलेन समतां नयेत्. The phala that is obtained, the fruit that is obtained by reading Srimad Bhagavatam is not equal to even visiting Prayaga, Kashi, Ganga, Pushkara, and so on. Okay? So here it seems that if you want to attain moksha, or if you want to, you can say, be happy, attain goodness also, what you have to do is shlokardham shlokapadam va nityam bhagavatodbhavam pathasya swamukhenaiva yadi ichhasi param gatim. What you have to do with this, at least read not even a shlokardham, half a shloka, or even a quarter. Shlokapadam. You read even a quarter of Bhagavatam, you'll attain moksha. That's what is said by the Kumaras. This is the Mahima. And it seems that all the Pranama mantra is present, Purusha Sukta is there, Gayatri mantra, everything. Srimad Bhagavatam is a blend of all of this together. And here what happens is, one who starts this, you can say, this one second. So usually if you see, you have now in Srimad Bhagavatam also you have reference to three Vedas. Okay, so even in those times also Atharva Veda was not part of this category of Vedas. Srimad Bhagavatam, if read every day, is you can say again equal to watering the tulsi plant and also doing seva, go danam and so on. So that itself is a virtue. And Sri Krishna, it seems that the Lord Himself gives us a place in Vaikuntham. Oktam Bhagavatam Nityam Kritam cha Hari Chittanam Tulasi Poshanam Chaiva Dhenunam Sevanam Samam Antakale tu Yenaiva Shruyate Shuka Shastravak Ritya Tasyaiva Vaikuntham Govindopi Prayachati. The Lord Himself gives us a place in Vaikuntha. And that fool who doesn't do this, even after listening, even after getting an opportunity to listen to Bhagavatam, that is his own ajnanam. So he is equal to a donkey, it seems. That's what Bhagavatam speaks. Ajanma matramapi ena shatena kinchichidam vidaya shukashastra katha napita chandala vaccha kharavat patatena nitam mitya swajanma janani jani dukkha bhaja. This life is going to be full of dukkha. And here what happens is, and you can say Janani Jani Dukkha Bhaja. Such a person who doesn't listen to the stories of Bhagavatam or so on, or in general to any scriptures, that person is just born to give Janani Jani Dukkha Bhaja. Just give labor pains to his mother, that's it. Apart from that, there is no use to his birth. To this level, the Mahatmyam stoop. So just imagine one who reads the Bhagavatam will have so much of glory, there is so much of importance and significance to this. And but at the same time this is not easy. It's not that everyone gets an opportunity, right? So all of us also, if you have got an opportunity, it is ultimately the grace of the Lord itself. And in fact, this is told again in Padma Puranam chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number 44-45. Durlabhaiva katha loke Srimad Bhagavatodbhava koti janma samuttena punyena tulabhyate. This is attained by doing crores and crores of merit. You can say crores and crores of punya, sorry, lots of punya and crores of janma. Only then we get an opportunity to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. That too listening. We are not even talking about chanting also. Only listening. Shravana matrena. So this is a merit that we have. And further, how many days, how much you want to listen, that is not restricted at all. Parikshit listened to 7 days. That doesn't mean that you also have to do the same. Any number of days you can listen. There is no end to it. Whenever you want you can listen, whenever you want to start you can start. There is no restrictions on all this at all. This is what they tell. And it is said that now here the Kumaras, the four Kumaras, they themselves agree that it is not possible to control the evils or distractions of Kali Yuga, but definitely we can take out some time. How will that come? Satsangam. That's the reason why Sanat Kumaras, they chose the right place. They called people around. So you see, four people around you, say for example here also, you know that okay, 4 5 people along with me are listening, so automatically that interest comes, right? Similarly for me also, if I have okay 10 people are coming, they're listening to me, I also have the interest in telling. Simply maybe I'll not open the book and maybe read, or maybe I'll not just simply keep blabbering, right? The case of all of you also, only if you have an approach, okay, someone is telling, others also will come in, let me join and listen, right? So we need that satsangam. Satsangam or good company. Here Sanat Kumaras did the same thing. They had an assembly of sages, they had an assembly of learned people, they called everyone around. This is the main purpose why you have the Bhagavata Saptaham or Ramayana Navaham and so on, wherein why they arrange satsangam, food arrangements, all that is made. Still, unfortunately, people don't go. That is another thing. But why in a group we call it? Maybe one person can tell, one can listen, right? But why that satsangam or company is very very important is we look at others, and as a company when we join, there is always motivation, right? Okay, the other person will come, at least for that sake, for the sake of that person, I should go, right? So this automatically comes in. So here further what happens is the Kumaras tell that in a week it is recommended that you listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, so that what happens is in Kali Yuga it becomes very difficult to control one's mind, right? So if a week period is told, okay, starting from Sunday till next Sunday or so, you have a Saptaham nearby, every day you have to go and listen. Somewhat we can train our minds. Okay, for 1 week I have to go there, but no, lifelong for a month or so, like maybe our own class. You say, okay, every Saturday once a week to come becomes difficult. Right? Instead, I tell, okay, only 1 week I'm going to tell, automatically you will come. Okay, it's there only for 1 week, right? So such things do happen. It is for, of course, human convenience. That's it. But here the Kumaras itself they tell that at least for that 1 week that is there, our minds are fully immersed, engrossed in Bhagavatam. Okay, today the story stopped till there, tomorrow what will happen? This curiosity comes in. And this curiosity ends tomorrow only, right? So it's okay till tomorrow. So tomorrow again I have to go and listen, so I'll know what will happen next. Right? So therefore it is said that Srimad Bhagavatam is usually it is chanted also the stories are listened in a week. Now here again you now while the four Kumaras were telling, a sage called Shaunaka. Shaunaka he had a question saying that how come now Bhagavatam has got a lot of stories this and that, but how come it talks about Narayana? Does it even get philosophical or it is just mere stories? So at that time Suta, in fact Suta and Shaunaka have a conversation, and in that conversation they are talking about the story wherein the Sanat Kumaras are telling the glory to Narada and so on. So Suta replies that that's the same story that I told you last time. And Sri Krishna, towards the end of the Dwapara Yuga, was about to go to his own realm. Yada Krishnodaram tyaktva swapadam gantum udyataha ekadasham parishatya buddhavo vakyam apravit. Uddhava had studied Moksha Skanda, that is 11th Skanda of Srimad Bhagavatam, mere philosophy. In spite of that also, he questioned Krishna. What did he question? त्वं तु यास्यसि गोविन्द भक्तकार्यं विधाय च मच्चित्ते महती चिन्ता तां श्रुत्वा सुखमावह. He says the purpose of your avatara is over, no doubt. That's the reason you're ascending to Vaikuntha. But what about people in Kali Yuga now? What about people in Bhuloka now? What about devotees like me? What will we do? The evils of Kali Yuga will start. You have done, you have put in so much of efforts to establish Dharma. Now what is the use? Everything will go up, right? So that's when you're about to go away, there's a lot of fear, I don't want to lose you, and so on. Terrible Yuga. The Kali Yuga is about to come. So, what will you do now? And like this, he keeps on complaining, Uddhava. At that time, the Lord himself, what he thought is, what should I do? So, he was sitting on Prabhasa, which is in today's Gujarat, that we believe the western coast, wherein Krishna Avatara came to an end. So, Lord Hari, he was thinking, Lord Krishna was thinking, what should I do for my devotees? Uddhava has asked a very, you can say, a very right question that is there, logical question, what should I do? And that's when he said, स्वकीयं यद्भवेत् तेजः तद्यभागवते दधात् तिरोधाय प्रविष्टोऽयं श्रीमद्भागवतार्णवम्. I will immerse myself, I'll put in all my energy, all my glory into Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's how the Lord disappeared into the ocean of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this itself is a manifestation of Lord Hari, the Purana itself. That's why it has attained so much of glory. Now here what happens is, if this was not done in the Kali age, illusion, distraction, Maya, people fall into this trap. It is very difficult to come out of that. That's the reason study of Srimad Bhagavatam is recommended to bring us out of all this. And thus, reading this Srimad Bhagavatam in 1 week was being told. At that time, Bhakti Devi, it seems that she appeared in the living form all of a sudden, along with her sons Jnana and Vairagya. And they started repeating the names of Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare Nathedi Namani Muhurvadanti. Sri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari. All of them they started chanting, it seems. And they said that they could actually see Bhakti. All the people assembled there could witness Bhakti in a living form, it seems. So this itself is Bhakti, and this is how the suffering of Bhakti came to an end. And that's when Bhakti she told, Bhavit Viratyaiva Kritasmi Pushta Kalipranishtapi Katharasena Kwaham Tutishtam Yaduna Bruvanto Brahma Idam Tam Girimosharere. Bhakti Devi told the four Sanat Kumaras, I was almost dead in the Kali Yuga. I have been brought back to life by you and your brothers, the four brothers, by filling in the Amrita of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now you tell me where I should stay. And that's when the four Sanat Kumaras told. What did they told? They told that you be present in devotees, like the Lord had told her. Similarly, the four Sanat Kumaras also tell Bhakti Devi that you be present in devotees, you be present in the devotees of Lord Vishnu, and in all the three worlds, wherever you are present there, the evils of Kali Yuga will not at all appear. So thus, bhakti it seems that evam tada jnana sarepi bhakti tada nishanna haridasa chitte. Bhakti Devi established herself in the minds of the Lord's devotees. And what happens is, one sakala bhuvana madhye nirdanastepi dhanya nivasati hridiyesham shri harer bhakti reka harirapi nijalokam sarvata no vihaya प्रविशति हृदि तेषां भक्ति सूत्रोपनग्नः विमोद्यते किमधिकं महिमानमेवं ब्रह्मात्मकस्य भुवि भागवताभिधस्य यत्संशया निगतते लभते सुभक्ता श्रोतापि कृष्णसमतामलमन्यधर्मैः. So this is like a concluding shloka of chapter 3, which says that wherever the glory of Sri Hari is told, there bhakti is present, and Lord Sri Hari also dwells in the hearts of all such devotees. And wherever Srimad Bhagavatam is read, and the man who listens to that, he will attain utmost bhakti and devotion to the Lord, and all his sins will disappear. He will always be happy. Further now, chapter 4, and there are 6 chapters in all. Chapter 4 talks about the story of a scholar called Atmadeva. Now, what he does, and so on. If we start today, we'll not be able to complete. So, we start with chapter 4 next time. For today, we will stop here. We have seen the end, the suffering of Bhakti.